Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. What's going on, tubers? Welcome back to Blues Channel 66. I'm a little late speaking on this situation. You know what situation I'm talking about. What that transpired in Chicago. Where this dude that was crazy as hell started binging on this lady, hitting her upside her head at a hot dog stand. And this fool, he kept saying, "Get your food, get your food." He said, "Say something else, I'm gonna knock your ass out." And she said something back to him. Then he started punching her like she was some dude. So then somehow she called her son or texted her son. And her son comes in with the firearm that was registered to her. And he shot the guy in the back. The mother told him to finish him off. Finish him. So the kid hit him with another round in the back. Then he was pronounced deceased. Erased. But this matter, let's call it even kill. That's what I'm gonna call it. As far as my perspective on both sides, dealing with both individuals. Let's take it back to that bus driver back in the day. Remember that bus driver that socked that one female and he said, "You going to jail now. You going to jail now." Remember that? That old man is still alive. He didn't die. This crazy fool, what's his name? Jeremy Brown? "32-year-old man, gone. His chapter is closed. His life is closed, gone, gone. Because he didn't use his noggin. Think about it. Right now, if he wanted to go back to the hot dog stand, he'll have some more hot dogs. He didn't use his noggin to fire on a female with your fists. Somebody you didn't even know. Just because she was talking back to you when you told her to shut up. She probably was older than you. I don't even know her age. But for the simple fact for you to do that, her 14-year-old son bodied you. Now, on the other hand, let's just say if she was just like in her mind, saying to herself like more like, "Okay, this is an ignorant motherfucker. All right, I'm gonna let him talk his shit. I'm gonna let him talk his shit. I ain't even gonna say nothing. I ain't even gonna say nothing. I'm gonna get my food. My son is outside, waiting for me in the car. I'm gonna get my food and just get on." Think about that. And the crazy thing about it is when you think about it is that This fool said, on my mama or on my grandmama, you talk again, I'ma knock your ass out. Well, somebody else's mama had a son with a firearm, and he took your ass out. And this had to happen in Chicago. That's a trip. You know, that's my pop's stomping grounds. He was born and raised in Chicago, and he came out to SoCal and created me and my twin bro. And I still got family all in the Chi. You know, I can't wait to visit the Midwest, either this year or next year. So I got mad love for the Chi. I love Chicago. You know what I mean? Any kid that saw their mother getting punched out like that, they would do the same thing if they loved their parent. Knowing that they know that their parent has a firearm, they would have done the same thing. I'll share this with you guys. I had a little situation. Well, there was a little situation when I was in high school. When me and my twin brother and my mom, we lived in Hawaiian Gardens. That's after we left Signal Hill. We was there with, I'd say 16, 17, till we were like 18, and then we moved out. But to make a long story short, one day while me and my brother was at school, you know, my mom, she happened to be off that day, so she was at home. So when we came home from school, my mom sat me and my brother down at the table, and she told us that there was this Mexican guy, because in that community it's predominantly Hispanic, you know, Mexican, and a few blacks that lived in the area. And there was always these stories where people would say like there were like house bombings and stuff like that towards black people over there in Hawaiian Gardens. We never had that happen to us, but I heard about it when we first moved there. Like my homie Malcolm, he was telling us about that. Mac, he was telling us that things like that was happening that he heard of, but it never happened to him and his parents. So we lived right there off of Carson and Juan Street. You know what I mean? Right there off of Carson and Juan, 21607. But she was telling us that some Mexican dude jumped over the fence, because at that time, right now, they got it all set up where it's like a place where you can play bingo over there now. But at that time, it was an open field. So anybody can hop the high brick wall and hop over. And then if they're watching your program, because I'm pretty sure they know that they knew that sometimes when we were at school, my mom was at home if she wasn't at work. Then they could watch her, because all of us, we all individually had patios, like a patio door that you open up, and then you could just walk right into the patio and then knock. You know what I mean? And we had it was a 2-story unit. So she said that this guy knocked on her door, and as soon as she opened up the door, he tried to pry his way in. And so what she did is she used force. She used force, and she closed the door in on his fingers with her weight. And then he was screaming loud. He was like, ah, like that. And then she said, you gonna leave? You gonna leave? That's what she told him. She said, you gonna get on? You gonna get on? You gonna leave? And he went, oh, okay, like that. And she used force and smashed his fingers. She let off a little bit. That motherfucker darted. He opened up the door and took off running. That's what she said. You know what I mean? And I tell you, when she told me and my brother that story, there was this katana sword that my mom bought me from this martial arts supply store up in Westminster in Orange County when I was a kid. I kept that sword up under my bed, and that whole night, that whole night like a wild man. I was sitting up there, well, a wild kid, because at the time I was a teenager, looking out my window, just waiting to see if I see that fool ever come back, to see if that fool would like try to retaliate and come back. I was just sitting there waiting. You know, my brother, he was knocked out in his bed because we had a big old room. I had my side of the wall, and my brother had his side of the wall and shit. That's what that nigga used to play. I had Sega Genesis and my brother had the Nintendo. He used to kick my ass in Ring King all the time. And I used to whoop his ass in Streets of Rage 2 and Contra and shit. But yeah, so just as a teenager, I was just sitting there waiting like, yeah, as soon as that motherfucker come back, I'm gonna gut his ass. Hell yeah. Now at this time, I know that the charges was dropped, you know, and the mother and the son has been released. So at this point, you know, I wish all protection on that family. I hope they make the right move. If they got to get out of the city of Chicago, get out of Illinois, get out of that state. Also, I'd like to send my condolences to the deceased, the brother Jeremy Brown. You know, that brother was a hothead. At that particular time, whatever was on his mind. I wish he could rewind that shit, like put that shit in reverse and stop right before he was gonna do his first punch. More be like, you know what? You know what? I'll be cool. Just get your food. All right then, tubers. Feel free to sub, comment, like, share,